He wears a fanny pack the whole entire movie, and he pulls it off. It doesn't take anything from his studliness. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to DVDs, Nuts, and Popcorn. I am your host, the PMM, the Physical Media Matt, and I am back with a weekly showcase of the movies that I picked up on Amazon, Goodwill, and also I got a package this week from my boy Steve, aka Ty Lord, aka Ty Lordikoff. And I know one of the things that's inside this package, and it's badass. So I can't wait to show you guys what I got in there. We'll open that together. And yeah, so this is the first time recording on my S22 Plus. I just purchased it yesterday, and I upgraded what? Galaxy S10 Plus. I cannot believe. So the S22 Plus costs $1,000. I got $800 in trade-in for this smashed up, barely functioning S10 Plus. You can see the damage on it. The top of the screen didn't work at all. It's even got damage in the back of it. I don't know if that's picking up on camera. But it was getting to the point where I had to turn my phone in different directions or flip it, rotate the screen to get certain functions of the phone to work, to manipulate certain apps and stuff. It was getting to be a pain in the ass, so I rode this phone probably more into the ground than any phone I've ever owned. So it's good to finally upgrade. So hopefully it looks better. I don't know if we got any DVD, Blu-ray hunting footage in the beginning of the video, and I don't know how the lighting is here. But making no excuses, this phone is definitely an upgrade. And all right, guys, sorry about the cut in the action there. I keep getting these Amber alerts, and it's automatically shutting my phone off. Or not my phone off, but it's shutting my camera off whenever I get the Amber alert. So I don't know what the hell. I don't remember my old phone doing that, but maybe it's some kind of setting I can change. All right, let's see what Ty Lordikoff sent me. Definitely don't have the right shit here. There we go. Alrighty then. Oh shit. I'm already seeing my boy Roy Scheider. Oh wow, one of these cases. This is interesting. So first up here we have Covert Assassin. Now Roy Scheider, or Tyler knows I'm a big Roy Scheider fan. I've never seen this movie. I'm seeing a helicopter on the back of it. I'm seeing some gunshots. Looks like an action film. And, you know, these cases are interesting. I've never owned one of these cases before. Now, I absolutely despise the soft plastic cases that look similar to this. But I am not really hating on this. I don't know what these cases are called. Oh, shit. That looks like a PS1 game. That's fucking awesome. But yeah, I don't know what these cases are called, but I'm kind of digging them, I'm not going to lie. Covert Assassin. And it's got the information on the inside of it for different movies. Let's see. Colonel Peter Stride, who is Roy Scheider, is known for taking too many risks and disobeying his superiors, which ultimately gets him forced out of his command of the government's Special Tactical Force. Once in business for himself, Stride's first client is the beautiful Baroness Patricia Millardet, I'm probably butchering that, who hires him to head the elite special force, Atlas, in order to find and destroy the brutal murderer of her late husband. He enters a dangerous world of espionage and high-tech weaponry in search of the elusive assassin known only as Caliph. A chain of explosive, deadly events follow, and Stride's investigation soon leads him to a surprise suspect. Wow, that sounds pretty fucking badass. It's a white-knuckle suspense down to the last frame when the assassin's true identity is revealed in the final explosive showdown. Yeah, man, never heard of this film. Says deception is the name of the game. So yeah, kind of a James Bondish Roy Scheider film. I wonder if he's checked that out. I'm going to have to ask him. All right, cool. Now I see another one of those style cases in here, so let's go ahead and check that out. I think he mentioned this in the text group yesterday. And I'm a big fan of David Bradley, so this is awesome to get this. And again, I think I like these cases. Expect to Die with Jamal Mira. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. Mirhai. Jamal Mira. Spelled M-E-R-H-I. I'm not sure on that. And David Bradley. It says, who will win when the game becomes reality? The Matrix just got deadlier. So this is a platinum film release. It says film 1. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I haven't. So obviously this is a fighter flick with, let me see, when the military's top secret virtual reality fighting prototype is canceled after the soldier's death on its simulated battlefield. Oh my God, they spelled death wrong. They spelled death D-E-T-H. I don't know if you can see that. Wow. On its simulated battlefield, Dr. McIntyre, who is David Bradley, he's a doctor in this film, turns to the Dragastino crime family for help. But hell breaks loose when the undercover detectives, Justin Blake, who's played by that July Mary character, and his partner infiltrate the vicious syndicate, only making a chilling discovery. The sequel to the deadly original VR game is ready for the global marketplace, and its kick is in decapitating the losing player. It's an adrenaline-slamming, no-holds-barred race against time as Blake and his partner race to stop the carnage. But who will win in this game? When this game becomes reality. All right, so Expect to Die. I think he's talked good things about this. I'm excited about checking this one out. We'll talk about some David Bradley films later on this video. Pretty badass, man. This guy looks like Billy Blanks on the back. It's got the inside artwork. Again, man, I'm kind of a fan of these cases. I thought I would hate them. Now, that does not look like a PS1 game, but the other one did. David Bradley is a badass B-action film star, if you guys don't know him. He played in a ton of movies, and quite possibly most famous for And I say Dudikoff passing the baton to him in the American Ninja series, but there was some friction between them two, actually. So I don't know if he passed the baton at all. And but yeah, probably more famous for that. But he's been in a slew of other really cool action films. So thanks for that, man. Definitely interested in checking that one out. Got a box full of shit here, man. Not shit, but all right, I think I remember seeing him pick this up. This is like trash right here, I can tell you right now. Highway to Hell collection. It's got The Craving, Hell's Highway, Feeding Grounds, The Ridge, Delirium, and Sheltered. I'm going to guess that all these movies are horrible. Echo Bridge. Go figure. All right, this is a movie that I've seen quite a bit at my Goodwill and always thought about picking it up. I am a fan of Nick Nolte's. And this is a Peter Benchley, the screenplay by Peter Benchley, which the book, the original, or the book, Jaws, was a Peter Benchley book. So that's pretty badass. Peter Benchley, I want to say he's done. Did Peter Benchley do Moby Dick as well? I'm not sure. I don't want to start speaking on Peter Benchley because I'm not sure. I just know that he wrote the movie Jaws was an adaptation of his book. Now, let me see here. This lavish suspense. I don't want to read the back of every one of them. Let me go ahead and just breeze through this real quick. Something about a sunken wreck of a WW2 freighter and a drug dealer and a sunken treasure. And Jacqueline Bisset. Beautiful actress. Wow, she was real young there. She's got to be in her 70s now. I think I've heard good things about this. It's deep. I think there might even be a shark scene in this movie. Oh, shit. My black stepdad's in this. Louis Gossett Jr. Robert Shaw's in this? Wait a second. Why does Robert Shaw sound so familiar? Wait a second. Let me look at this real quick. Suspense film was made from Peter. It says Jaws, Benchley, best-selling novel. Gail Burke, we already talked about Jacqueline Bisset, and David Sanders, Nick Nolte. Let me see. And then Louis Gossett's mentioned, and an old treasure hunter, Romer Treese, Robert Shaw. Oh, holy shit. That might be a young Robert Shaw from fucking Jaws. That's fucking insane. I did not know that. It's badass. All right, next up here. This is pretty fucking cool, man. Factory sealed. Another variation, a snapper case. I know people aren't big fans of this. I'm not a big fan of these as well. But, William Dafoe is one of my favorite actors of all times, and this has Mickey Rourke, another really good actor, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio. God, that's a hard name to say. But yeah, look at that, White Sands. Looks like another thriller movie. It says jackhammer action, ferocious, compelling. It's by some no-name critic. Red hot stars ignite in this white-hot thriller, White Sands, a volatile mix of action and suspense, directed by I cannot fucking read today. Roger Donaldson, who directed Species, and filmed in and around New Mexico's glistening White Sands National Park. William Dafoe plays Sheriff Ray It doesn't fucking matter. A small town lawman in big time trouble. To untangle a mystery, he assumes the identity of murdered FBI agent and goes undercover inside a global crime ring. All right, looks like Mickey Rourke works for the FBI. Samuel L. Jackson's in this as well. Never heard of it. White Sands. Looks like another action fucking espionage film. Very cool. Ty-Lord hooking it up, man. All right, now he knows that I collect Christopher Lambert movies for some crazy reason. I'm hoping that this is not too much drama, though, because I definitely don't want to see a drama film. This has Christopher Lambert, Diane Lane, Tom Skerritt, and Daniel Baldwin. Night Moves. Some critic on here says a sexy erotic thriller. I'm not going to read this, but yeah, I know nothing about it. The Christopher Lambert's probably the worst, best actor of all time. It's got the chapters in there, inside there, which is really cool. So yeah, another Christopher Lambert movie for the collection. Now this looks like some $1.25 Bush badness right here. A film by Vincent I cannot fucking read today. A film by Vincent Soberano. I feel like I'm still not saying that right. Fight for Justice. The Trigonal? So I don't recognize any of these names. Ian Ignacio, Sarah Chang, Rian Ramos. I'm not even trying to say his name. And Vincent Soberano. I don't know if any of those are newer action film stars that he knows about, that I need to know about. It's an Echo Bridge release. It's factory sealed. Probably sucks. This is probably not a good movie because I've never fucking heard of it, but it actually looks kind of cool. It's got Tom Sizemore in it. It says, pray that it never arrives. And I'm big into like road stop horror, rest stop horror, gas station horror, restaurant. Did I say restaurant yet? And like trucks, like the movie Trucks and Christine and Jeepers Creeper, where it has a truck in it. And so this has a diesel on the cover with some kind of demon. And let me see here. The meaning of a cryptic prophecy divides a team of secretive guardians as they attempt to transport a deadly creature and its half-human sister in an 18-wheel truck to a more secure location. But a hidden agenda undermines their mission, releasing the beast. And then they end up battling for the fate of the world when the true meaning of the prophecy is discovered. So yeah, oh, this looks like a sci-fi. This is a sci-fi film. Oh Lord. And but it is a Scream Factory release. Comes with a slipcover. I like the clear case look. Even has some inner artwork. So I don't know, man. I mean, definitely something I'm going to check out. Who knows? It could be a hidden gem. All right, next up here. He told me about this. So we talked about Sho Kosugi in the last video in the Enter the Trilogy, or the Enter the Ninja Trilogy. This is actually his son all grown up, which is, his name is Kane Kosugi. And yeah, he's the star in this film right here. Tekken Kazuya's Revenge. Survival is no game. Obviously, Tekken derived from the video game. Was the first Tekken games on the PS1? I think so. But anyway, yeah, man. Definitely interested in seeing Sho Kosugi's son as an adult kicking some ass to see if he's you know, if the apple falls close to the tree. Does that make any sense? I don't know. All right, so not sure why he sent this to me. He must have got mixed up. He knows that I am collecting all of the Masters of Horror films, but I told him in the group that I already have this. And I told him to make sure he watches this and to keep it or send it to somebody else, because this is a really good Masters of Horror episode. And speaking of truck horror, road stop, rest stop horror, you have a little bit of that in this film. Definitely the truck horror. You can see the diesel right there. And this is basically about the lives of two serial killers, their paths intersecting, and then this cat and mouse game between the two serial killers, man. Really enjoyed this one. This is a Larry Cohen film. Yeah, not sure, and that's, I hope he watched this, because this is a really effing good episode. Again, we talked about this in the past. It's a Showtime series that came on many years ago, where all of the best, or a lot of the best horror directors of all time was, or the hot directors at the time that did horror movies. Larry Cohen, who else? I don't know why. Tobe Hooper, directors like that made these little hour-long films, man, and I really enjoy a lot of them. So I'll pass that on to one of the guys. I'll send it back to Tyler Lordikoff. Okay, the best for last here, guys. I was shocked. When we started doing this, everybody from the podcast sending horror movies back and forth to each other. You know, there's kind of a concept of sending bad movies to each other, which, you know, when you're sending movies that are so bad that they're good, it's fun. But when you're just sending straight trash movies to each other, it kind of becomes repetitive and kind of sucks. And I can see us sending movies to one of the guys, and then next thing you know, you're watching a video and they're sending the movies that you sent them to one of the other guys. So it's kind of hilarious. But not to say that, like, Mario, for example, he sent some pretty cool stuff to us, actually. But we have gotten in the habit of sending some shitty stuff to each other. But man, you talk about a step in the right direction here. This is something that I'm a huge fan of, the Phantasm franchise. And I can't believe he sent me this. It's like a $30 fucking movie, or Blu-ray set here. So, man, he stepped up his game. And this is something that I showed off in some of the Walmart videos, and I just was not willing to pull the trigger on because of the price. But he pulled the trigger, man, and sent me a really nice gift here. And I wasn't sure. The one that he bought, I think he got for a little bit less, like $26.99 off of Amazon maybe, or I don't know, man, I'm not sure. But I didn't think it came with a slip, so it's really nice because it has that glossy red slip on there that I really like. And yeah, man, I am, you know, the strange thing about it, and I'm such a big fan of Don Coscarelli's movie franchise here, I don't even think I own any of the Phantasm movies on DVD. I could be lying, but if I do, I only own one of them. I think the original. I've seen all of the movies 100 times, except for maybe Ravager. Well, let me see. This comes with, but I don't know why I don't have. So this is 5 movies. So you got Phantasm, which is a classic. Phantasm 2, where they put a lot more money into it, so that's a lot of people's favorite in the Phantasm franchise. And then Phantasm 3, and then Phantasm 4, Oblivion, and then Ravager, which came out. When did Ravager come out? Doesn't even say the date on that. Yeah, for some reason they don't list date years on these movies, which is really strange. Let's check on the back of the Blu-ray. No, it doesn't list the years. I don't know why. That's odd. Why do I feel like there's more Phantasm movies than 5? But anyway, badass set right here, man. I cannot wait to see these movies again, to revisit them on Blu-ray, especially 1 and 2. I absolutely adore those films. So thanks a lot, man. I appreciate that, man. I definitely owe you a big one. And I'll be sending you Phantasm, the remastered Blu-ray, the original that I found at a pawn shop, I think in the last week's video. So hell yeah, I'll be watching these very soon. All right, guys, that's it for Ty Lord's package. Now let's get into the Goodwill, Amazon, and yeah, I think that's it. Movie pickups for the past week. All right, guys, let's get to the pickups here. First up to bat, we have a Goodwill pickup. $2. We have, yes, Leprechaun Back to the Hood. And I had to pick this up. I have all the Leprechaun movies in a multi-pack, a DVD multi-pack, but I still have to pick up movies like this when I see them out in the wild individually, especially the Leprechaun films. I would like to collect all the Leprechaun movies, even though I have that compilation. But anyway, Leprechaun Back to the Hood. Just to break down the Leprechaun film franchise, the first Leprechaun movie came out in 1993. And then they hit you with a Leprechaun movie every single year, 94, 95, 96. And then the franchise lay dormant. I guess they ran out of ideas. And then possibly some movie exec came up with the idea, hey, let's put Leprechaun in the Hood. And then somebody had the brilliant idea of putting Ice-T in the movie, and the rest is history. A cult fucking classic is born in the year 2000, Leprechaun in the Hood. The singular reason why I collect bad Ice-T movies to this day is Leprechaun in the Hood. And then 3 years later, no Leprechaun movies come out, and I guess they ran out of concepts again. They said, fuck it, let's put Leprechaun back in the Hood. And listen, guys, it's hard to recreate that type of magic again. And for the most part, they did not. But I gotta say, it's kind of an enjoyable film again, man. I actually like it. So in this movie, they have a generic cast. I don't know any of them. I mean, you have the rapper Sticky Fingers. I guess they couldn't bring Ice-T back. I think he died in the other movie. Not that they haven't brought dead people back in movie franchises before, but anyway, he probably was too busy doing NCIS or whatever the fuck he does. But they have like a generic Jada Smith character in here, and I was looking her up on Wikipedia after I watched the movie, and her name is Sherry Jackson. What's interesting about her is she's the voice of Quentin Hedgemouse in the Psychonauts game for the Xbox and the PlayStation 2. And then also she's one of the characters voiced in Toe Jam and Earl 3 that was also, I think, on the Xbox original. So, I don't know, I thought that was pretty cool. Now, Smokey's aunt from Ice Cube's Friday film, the one that rolls her eyes, and I think Smokey has to go get her cigarettes at the store, is in this. I think her name's Vicklin Reynolds. And so I thought that was hilarious. And, you know, for the most part, like the first Leprechaun in the Hood, the cast of characters were likable. And I think that's why that movie works. And although these characters are not as likable, they're still not that bad. You kind of root for them in a way. And I think that's why I enjoyed it. There's kind of a hilarious scene where, you know, obviously Leprechaun movies, they're always taking the Leprechaun's gold and the Leprechaun's going after his gold coins and killing everybody. No different here, but there's one scene where one of the girls gets one of the coins and takes it to a jeweler and gets it melted down, and so she can get a gold tooth. And of course, Leprechaun kills her and rips her tooth out of her mouth, which is pretty badass. And yeah, without going too much more into the movie, I mean, the end was kind of dragged on a little bit and was kind of a little bit lame, but again, I thought it was fun. And man, Warwick Davis, man, he's just such an incredible actor in this film franchise. I absolutely love him, and you can't do wrong with him. Like, I don't remember any of the Leprechaun films that he was in that I hate. I actually get some enjoyment out of all of them. So yeah, man, Leprechaun back to the THA hood. Evil has a whole new rap. And then Leprechaun's getting high in this again, smoking a bong and shit. I think in the first movie he got high with Ice-T. He's getting high with one of the characters in here, and it's pretty hilarious. Unfortunately, there's no insert in here, but I like the black and almost fluorescent green color scheme on the disc there. DVD special features commentary includes Warwick Davis, director of photography, storyboard. So that's cool. It has a commentary with Warwick Davis. I probably would want to revisit that. Again, not as good as Leprechaun in the Hood at all, but still an enjoyable film. All right, sorry about that, guys. Man, I keep getting this Amber Alert on my phone. It's shutting my camera off for some reason. I don't know if there's some way I can change that in the settings. All right, guys. So I've been on my Sho Kosugi kick lately, and you guys saw me talk about and show off the Enter the Ninja trilogy, which he stars in. Now, the last Enter the Ninja movie, which was Ninja 3, came out in 1984. This came out the following year in 1985, Pray for Death. Now, the thing about this movie, this is like a much darker movie than I remember any of those movies being. You got old people getting burned to death, women getting stabbed and raped, attempted murder on children. The mob, or the mafia, is like in this movie, and you know, they're fucking brutal, man. They'll stop at nothing to get what they're after. And so basically, oh, by the way, if anybody has a Wikipedia account, in Wikipedia it says that they moved from California, or they moved from Japan to Los Angeles, and the movie's filmed in Los Angeles. It's not. It's filmed and set in Houston, Texas. And me being from Houston, Texas, actually right on the outskirts of downtown Houston, and I worked in downtown Houston for 8 years, so really badass, man. It's a big plus for the movie for me. But if anybody could change that on Wikipedia, I'd greatly appreciate it. So basically what happens is his wife talks, and by the way, his kids are in this movie as well, Kane and Shane Kosugi. So basically his wife talks him into moving to Houston because her dream is to open a restaurant in America. And at first he doesn't want to, but he ends up getting talked into it. They move to Houston, and they buy this restaurant from this old man, and there's like this connected to the restaurant, there's like this old cigar store that he hasn't been in years. Like, it's filled with dust, and there's like a deadbolt on the door, and then on the outside you can also access it, and that's also deadbolted, or not deadbolted, but it has like a master lock on it and like a latch. But apparently the mafia and corrupt cops have been dropping drugs here and making drug deals in this little part of the part of his restaurant, the cigar store, unbeknownst to him, right? So in the movie, there's like these undercover cops that are putting underneath the floorboard this necklace. I don't know if there's a backstory on the necklace, but the necklace is like this beautiful, like $5 million, necklace from fucking like England or some bullshit, and like a bag of heroin or whatever. So the corrupt cop ends up getting the bright idea. You know what? I'm going to act like I put it here and someone stole it. So he ends up taking it for himself. Now, the mob boss sends his henchmen out. They end up killing the old man that's selling them the restaurant. And then after they kill him, they start going after Sho Kosugi and his family. And this Italian guy, I can't remember what his name is, but he's like a real menacing guy. He's like a big dude, like 6'4", 6'5", 240, and really plays a good evil character in the movie. Now, the only thing I will say, he puts up such a great fight with Shokasugi's character, and Shokasugi being a ninja, it's kind of unbelievable. And there's no, like, you know how like in Action Jackson, how Craig T. Nelson's character, you saw him do like martial arts and stuff, training and sparring or whatever. So you kind of know that there's some kind of backstory with his fighting skills. In this movie, there's no like backstory with the Italian guy. And it's not like the Italian guy's doing like kung fu or anything. He's just like a tough guy. But that part's a little bit unbelievable. There's a final kill scene. I wish this movie had a little bit more money in the budget to show some of the gore. It's not really graphic. There's like a real cool kill scene with a buzzsaw, which you really wanted to see a little bit of blood and gore on that part, and it cuts away, which kind of pissed me off. But yeah, there's a scene in the movie where Shokasugi's character gets onto this massive yacht that the mob is throwing this party with like all these hookers and stuff, and he starts killing everybody on the yacht one by one, and he gets to the main henchman's, the area where the main henchman guy is at, and he's like cut the power, and he sneaks up behind him with a knife, right? And he tells the guy, he's like, listen, you need to back up right now. If you do not leave my family alone, I promise you, you will pray for death. And it's a really cool scene. I love when movies use the name of the title in the movie. I'm trying to think of some good examples, like First Blood with Stallone towards the end of the movie where he's talking to Colonel Trautman, where he says, they drew first blood. That's probably a bad Stallone impersonation, but you know what I mean. Like they use the actual name of the movie in the dialogue in the movie. I always love that. So that's a real cool scene in the movie. Shokasugi's an absolute badass in this movie, man. He's got the eye of the tiger, man. Like I think Bruce Lee had the eye of the tiger, but not a lot of actors have that intensity, that fire in his fucking eye when he's about to get fucking down and fucking dangerous with his fucking ninja moves, man. That look on it, look in his face, man. That look in his eyes is like, it's intangible. You could not possess that. Like, it's not something that every actor has, and he's got it, man, in spades. So yeah, man, loved the film, man. I thought it was really cool. Really good movie. Now, the bad part about this, when you buy these films, man, they don't have good American releases, or they're hard to find good American releases. You have to, you know, find them wherever you can get them at. And I got kind of fucked on this. I got color printed artwork. So that sucks. Get this back in here. Ah, fuck it. And then even the disc looks generic, like some bootleg shit. But I'm going to be honest with you, man. It looks good. I had no problem with the sound or the way the movie looks. It looks fine. But yeah, not happy with this at all. I'm not sure if Amazon is like eBay, where I can like reach out to the seller and tell them, hey, better cough up some money and give me a partial refund on this shit. I'm a collector, man. We don't play shit like that, man. We don't like fake fucking artwork. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do something about that. I'm gonna have to upgrade. I cannot remember if there's a Blu-ray release of this, or it might have been Region B, which is the problem. That's another thing that we need to talk about. I think I might have to get me an all-region player because of bullshit like this. Although Tyler says he saw this at Rasputin's, where, am I saying that right? Rasputin's? I think it's Rasputin's, not Putin's. Putin is the Russian president, isn't he? All right, anyway, irregardless, he said he saw a copy of this, so I don't know if it's got the legit paperwork on it or art cover or not. I'll have to ask him. All right, that was long-winded enough. All right, guys, I'm not going to talk too much about this movie because I got somewhere I need to be. Black Eagle. This film came out in 1988. Now, Shokasugi is the headliner in the movie, but you would not be able to tell that by looking at that cover. And that's all about selling more DVDs, guys. So this is not the original art cover. This is an art cover on a re-release to sell more DVDs because obviously Van Damme absolutely blew up right after this movie in 1988. And, you know, did Bloodsport, Cyborg. And speaking of 1988, listen to this. He did Bloodsport, Cyborg, and Black Eagle. 3 movies in 1 year. And then, you know, after that, the sky was the limit, man. He just fucking became an international superstar. Bigger than Sho Kosugi. So that's what that's all about. Now, again, I'm not going to talk too much about this movie. It's basically a CIA versus KGB movie. Sho Kosugi's CIA, Van Damme's KGB. The whole movie is setting up those two to battle. And they have 2 epic battles in the movie. One less epic than the other, but they do fight. And when I heard a movie that I had never seen before, these 2 fucking battling it out, I was fucking pumped. I had to purchase it immediately. And I don't know. The only thing that I can say, man, the fight, especially the final fight between them on the ship, left me unfulfilled, man. I felt like it was too close of a battle, and I just didn't really understand it. I felt like Sho Kosugi is the star. He's the one, he's the main headliner in the movie. He should have kicked Van Damme's ass. You know, excuse the spoiler, Van Damme dies in the fucking movie anyway. It's not like they were setting up other fucking movies. I don't get that at all. Or Van Damme should have fucking killed Sho Kosugi. I mean, make up your mind. But I did not understand why it was such a close fight. It made no sense to me at all. But yeah, the movie has a bunch of like espionage type of Bond stuff going on. And I think it's a good flick. Again, I just wish that they would have went either way with the fight, man, and not keep it so so evenly matched. It's very odd. All right, next up, we have a real interesting film here. This came out in 2003, and it's basically, well, it stars Ray Liotta and John Cusack. I'm big fans of Ray Liotta. You guys know that. And this group of strangers' lives basically intersect through these incidents that happen during this torrential rainstorm, and they all end up at this motel. So there's all kinds of coincidences in the movie. Everybody in the movie, they find out, or all the cast of characters that meet up there or that are, you know, stranded at this motel, all have the same birthdays. All of their names are cities in the United States. It's either cities or states, I can't remember. Ray Liotta's character shows up. Supposedly he's a cop. There might be a twist to that, I'm not going to say. And he's got, I think Jake Busey, Gary Busey's son, is the convict that's you know, that he's got in the back seat, all handcuffed. So the convict, Jake Busey, ends up escaping from the motel room, and then one by one, people start dying. It turns into a slasher, so it's part psychological, part slasher. But the story surrounding the movie is this serial killer is getting a stay of execution out of the blue. He's supposed to be killed tomorrow, and somehow he's getting a stay of execution. So the judge, the prosecutors, the lawyers are all meeting up at some location and talking about whether he's, you know, the doctor's talking about whether he's too mentally insane to be murdered for his transgressions. Now, that killer, the serial killer, is the same killer in The Devil's Candy, if you guys have seen that, which I think was like a 2015 film or somewhere around there. But what ends up, spoiler here, guys, what ends up happening in the movie, this serial killer and this cast of characters at this motel, they all end up being parts of his personality. So they're all, because he has split personalities, each one of the cast of characters are parts of his personality, which is really badass. I don't know if other movies have done that before, which I thought was really cool. And then there's another twist at the end of the movie where you find out who the killer is that you would never guess. But I think it's still all in his mind. It's a little bit confusing. But yeah, man, cool flick. Check it out. It's got the insert in there. Picked that up for $2 at Goodwill. see what we got here. All right, so you guys saw me pick this up at Walmart a couple of weeks ago, 2 to 3 weeks ago. This is a 2020 film, and really the cover art on this, guys, is the reason I picked it up. This right here is embossed right here. It's got that texture. Let me pop one of these cysts so it can squirt all over you. And basically, like, the first 20 minutes of the movie is the doctor popping cyst, and the poor nurse's face getting squirted with all this ooze, to the point where you're like, okay, are you gonna keep on doing that same shit over and over again? But the movie's still supposed to be set in the 1960s, and I think they do a good job with that. It does seem like an older film, and I couldn't figure out who he was in the movie, but George Hardy is the doctor in this movie. And if you guys don't know who George Hardy is, he was the dad from Troll 2. And I kept thinking the whole time, or I was assuming that he was Tim Thomerson from the Trancers franchise, but no, it's definitely a George Hardy from Troll 2. Now, this movie makes no sense, but the doctor has this cyst-removing laser cannon that he's trying to get patented, and the patent office is there. So he hires this guy to, he pays this guy to let him use the laser on him, and he uses the guy has a cyst, but it's not very big, so he puts like this chemical on it, and the cyst becomes nasty. It becomes this huge cyst. You can see on the back there. And when he uses the laser on it, the guy like blows up and like is split in half, and this like cyst spider monster comes out, and then all of a sudden the cyst it makes no sense. The cyst monster grows into this giant, massive creature, and the doctor guy hits some kind of button, and like this hurricane deal goes up where all the doors, where everyone's locked inside the doctor's office, and the only way, the breaker is like in the basement. They can't get to the basement, so everybody's trapped, and the cyst monster is like killing everybody one by one. The cyst monster is so badly done. It's like this huge rubber-suited creature, and it almost reminds me of Snuffleupagus from Sesame Street. Like, Snuffleupagus would literally be more of a scary creature than this stupid cyst creature. The movie is described as horror, sci-fi, comedy. I would definitely put comedy in front of those two descriptions, because it's 100% comedy, and usually those movies don't work for me. I think some people might like this if you're into comedies like that, but it didn't work for me. I definitely don't recommend it. I think I showed this off in one of my other videos. That's cyst. You know, I get the irony of removing cyst and the cyst coming to kill you. Like, it's very ironic, but it doesn't work. All right. Next up here, we have another Goodwill pickup. This is factory sealed. Got this for $2. Opened it up, watched it right away, and this is Stone Cold. This is a 2005 film. Now, to put things in perspective, Magnum P.I., which obviously Tom Selleck is most known for, ran from 1980 to 1988. Almost a fucking decade. And let's don't get it twisted. Tom Selleck was a massive television superstar. Now, right in the middle of the Magnum P.I. series, he did a movie in '84 called Runaway, which is one of my favorite fucking sci-fi movies of all time, or action thriller movies of all time, which is filmed like in the bleak, futuristic world with robotic spiders and fucking Gene Simmons as the bad guy. And it is phenomenal. This movie is so good. I absolutely love it. But besides that, post 1988, besides like the Three Men and the Baby movies, Mr. Baseball, maybe Quigley Down Under, which I've never even seen, he's had a rancid freaking movie career. Let's face it. Now, doing some research on this, apparently he did like 9 of these movies where he's the character Jesse Stone, and they're all made for television movies, which was quite possibly his downfall and why he hasn't, been a major motion picture star. Now, he hasn't made a non-television movie since 2010, guys. Now, I will say this. His television celebrity, he's been on Blue Bloods, which I've never seen before, since 2010. Quite the run. That movie is still on to this day. Correct me in the comments below if it's not. Now, this movie's a little bit too... I don't know, man. It's not... It's a made-for-television movie. Like, literally, this movie could be PG. I'm actually kind of surprised that it's rated R. Now, it's got these... it's kind of unique in it. It's got these eccentric killers. This husband and wife team that literally just kills for enjoyment. And so people end up dead. Jesse Stone, in all the movies, he's like this former cop from Los Angeles, the big city, moves to a small town and becomes the chief of police there in said small town. Now, dead bodies start showing up left and right, and all of a sudden, this serial killing team starts to focus their attention on Tom Selleck and his women and his, was it his child too? I'm trying to remember now. I don't remember. But anyway, Tom Selleck, I should remember, I just watched it. Tom Selleck is kind of a womanizing alcoholic character in the movie. But, yeah, it's just not shocking enough of a movie. It's not, I've seen too many great crime thrillers for this to affect me too much. Not a bad movie. Some people will enjoy this, and maybe you're into the Jesse Stone movie franchise. Check it out if you dare. All right, so obviously a big fan of Patrick Swayze. I do want to collect all his movies. Besides, like, the Dirty Dancing movies, I have no interest in movies like that. I want the action thriller movies that Patrick Swayze's in. This came out in 1989. Next to Kin had a who's who of guys who would end up being famous later on. Obviously, Swayze, Helen Hunt, Liam Neeson is his brother in the movie. Ben Stiller, of all people. Bill Paxton. I love Bill Paxton. Rest in peace, Bill Paxton. Ted Levine. Adam Baldwin, which is not a Baldwin brother, but he is related, like, through ancestry somehow to the Baldwin brothers. Now, okay, so Patrick Swayze did The Outsiders in 83, home run. 84, Red Dawn, home run. 86, Youngblood, I love it. 87, Dirty Dancing, and Steel Dawn. Steel Dawn's a Vestron release you can pick up at Walmart if you haven't yet. And then he did a movie I've never even heard of in 88 called Tiger Warsaw, which I probably need to pick up. And then in 89, he did Roadhouse, probably his biggest, most accomplished film. And he also did Next to Kin the same year. And then in 90, he did Ghost, home run. 91, Point Break, one of my favorite movies of all time. I love Point Break. Now, Keanu Reeves, the guys from Hot Chili Peppers are in that fucking movie. It's a badass surf bank robbery movie. If you haven't seen that movie, where the fuck have you been? Now, this movie is a little bit of a letdown. It's basically rednecks versus the mafia, right? But Patrick Swayze is guy who moves away from small town into big city, the opposite of Jesse Stone, right? And so he's a little bit estranged from his redneck family, and now he's a cop, so he's trying to play by the rules. So as oddly as this sounds, he kind of gets in the way of the movie. Like, I want rednecks versus the mafia. That's the perfect synopsis for a film. And so basically what happens is he's the cop. The other main character in the movie is Liam Neeson. So his brother, so all their brother, okay, he has a bunch of brothers, gets killed incidentally by the mafia in some unrelated situation. I don't even remember what it was. But so Liam Neeson wants to seek revenge. Patrick Swayze wants to do it by the book. So that whole situation evolves, and Liam Neeson ends up dying, sorry, spoiler, And then Patrick Swayze throws away the badge finally in the last act of the movie, and you're like, oh, thank God, Patrick Swayze's finally going to be a badass. But it's a little bit of a letdown. The rest of his brothers come to rescue him, and as he's trying to fight the whole mafia family at this in this cemetery scene, and you kind of want to get to know his brothers a little bit better. Like, one of his brothers is a snake guy. He's got all these fucking snakes with him and shit he travels with, and they all have like their different like specialities. One of them throws knives and stuff, and there's not really too much backstory on them, which is a little bit disappointing. But I like the film, I just don't love it. And yeah, Next to Kin, check it out. It's like one of the first I mean, Liam Neeson's did some movies before this, but one of his bigger, like, co-starring roles, I would say. All right, what do I got left? I got 2 movies. Man, I'm out of breath, man. I feel like I've been going forever in this video. I had to pause several times because the stupid Amber Alert keeps shutting my camera off, pissing me off. All right, pick this up at Goodwill. I just noticed this is $2.99. It pisses me off. They're supposed to be $1.99. They probably did that because there's 4 fucking movies on here. I hate when Goodwill does that. But anyway, pretty cool 4 film pack here. I remember Ty Lord talking about Ticker, and apparently it has like a Dennis Hopper's in it. It has Nas the rapper, Mogul, and then it has a bullshit cameo appearance apparently by Seagal, and even Ice-T has a cameo appearance in there. But it's like a passerby, like he's like literally like in there for a second, he's out. And it also stars Tom Sizemore, which I like the shit he does. A lot of the movies that he's in, I'm a fan of. Or I'm a fan of his work. Let me put it that way. 2001 movie, and then it has Quicksand with Michael Keaton and the amazing star of obviously Jaws 4, Michael Caine. Who doesn't love Michael Caine? And then it has Fall Time, which I've actually heard decent stuff about, with one of the Baldwin brothers and Mickey Rourke. That came out in 1994. And then Beyond the Law with Charlie Sheen with the long hair. It looks like an absolute train wreck. And I think it's like a biker, maybe undercover cop type of movie. So yeah, I'll be checking that out soon. And what I like about this is each movie comes on their own disc, not like some $1.25 Bush type of bullshit. All color print disc there. So very cool. Yeah, you can see like the biker gang right there. All right, last movie. All right, so I'm getting into the cyborg cop movies, and very confusing franchise, by the way. So I've ordered, let me make sure I'm getting this right. So I ordered on Laserdisc because I don't even think it has a DVD release. The first cyborg cop movie is on VHS, but I don't think it's on DVD. So I had to order the Laserdisc for that. Okay. By mistake, from the same seller, I bought Cyborg Cop on Laserdisc, right? And then I bought Cyborg 2, which is not Cyborg Cop 2, it's Cyborg 2, which the first Cyborg movie is a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, which is one of my favorite post-apocalyptic movies of all time. I love it. Now, which is still cool. I'm glad that I got it, but I made a mistake and thought it was Cyborg Cop 2. Now, what is Cyborg Cop 2 called? It's called Cyborg Soldier. What is Cyborg Cop 3 called? It's called Terminal Impact. It's so fucking confusing. But anyway, was lucky enough to find this on Amazon Prime. There was only 2 copies left on there, and there was 0 on eBay. Ty Lord bought the other copy when I showed it to him. And so I watched these. I'm still waiting on the laser, so I've never seen Cyborg Cop 1, but apparently they're non-related, so you can watch them in any order that you want. So I watched Cyborg Cop 3 first. Again, that's called Terminal Impact. And that film came out in 1995. And it stars Frank Zagarino. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And he's been in the Project Shadow Chaser movie franchise. I think there's like 3 of them. Operation Delta Force, Barbarian Queen, and a movie called Striker. So I'll be looking into those movies. And then the other star, because it's a buddy movie, his name is, or buddy cop movie, his name is Brian Ganese, or Janice. I think it's Ganese. And he was also in Shadow Chaser 2, which he battles his buddy in this movie. So they actually battle each other. So one's the protagonist and one's the antagonist. So that's badass. I want to see that. And he was also in Operation Delta Force 3. So their careers kind of mirror each other. I don't know. I didn't see them in any other movies, but I would like to see them to continue this being cop buddies. Man, that would have been kind of badass, but I don't think they did. But at least they were in 2 other movies together. So that's something I want to check into. But no, I take that back. I don't know if Frank Zagarino was in Delta Force 3 or Operation Delta Force 3. But anyway, similar careers. Now, both of them are very likable characters. I can't remember which one it was. The darker-haired guy in the movie, this guy right here, is literally pounding Budweisers the whole fucking movie. It is so fucking hilarious. And he's not like grabbing one at a time. Every time he grabs Budweiser, he's grabbing like 2 or 3 Budweisers and just pounding them. And so that's badass. And man, there's some great fight sequences in the movie. There's all kinds of badass fucking explosions going on. Fire everywhere. This is one of the most fiery movies I've ever seen. And some real good action sequences. Now, the cyborg stuff, it doesn't really get, like in the other cyborg films, there's more science fiction, like more, like cyborg gun attachments on their hands, and you can see more cyborg features and stuff. This is very generic. This could almost not be a cyborg movie at all, but it is a cyborg that's going after them. They have to stop this cyborg character, and basically that's what the movie's about. And yeah, man, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a cool flick. Again, like the buddy team in this one, I think they did a really good job. And yeah, man, definitely check that one out. Now, what was I going to say? There's actually plane flying, chasing, where they're in planes chasing each other in the movie, which is really badass. And yeah, that's about it. So the next movie on here, which is called Cyborg Soldier, which again is Cyborg Cop 2, is the famous David Bradley. And by the way, David Bradley is in part 1 as well. Now, this is directed, I think the first 2 films are directed by Sam Furstenberg, which is famous for the American Ninja franchise and also Revenge of the Ninja. So I think that the bad guy, which I really liked in the movie, by the way, is named Morgan Hunter, and he reminds me of the lead singer from Smashing Pumpkins. He's the cyborg antagonist in the movie. Now, all right, guys, so, well, first of all, the opening sequence of this movie is like, we talked about the movie Mean Guns, where there's so much fucking ammunition flying and gunshots. That's the same with the beginning of this movie. There's so many fucking bullets being expelled in the movie. It's so fucking phenomenal. Now, all right, guys, let's talk about fanny packs and stuff. Now, I don't know when fanny packs became big. I think it was like the late 80s, early 90s and stuff. But I remember like vacationing with my stepdad. And my stepdad is like the opposite of anything that would be considered cool. And how we'd go on these vacations and he'd wear a fanny pack and he would keep like all his important information inside of the fanny pack. And just the biggest fucking dork. And, it's like, if you were American with a fanny pack, you were just the biggest dork in the world. But then it was also like the Europeans that you would see at like Disney World. They would be wearing fanny packs as well. So, and they were also big dorks. But I have never seen anybody cool with a fanny pack, but in this movie, David Bradley, and this is a testament to how badass this motherfucking guy is. He wears a fanny pack the whole entire movie, and he pulls it off. It doesn't take anything from his studliness. I've never seen anything like it before in my life. It would be like Claude Van Damme wearing a pink skirt and a polka dot pink shirt the whole fucking Double Impact movie, and you're still thinking he's cool. It's impossible. It can never happen. But somehow he does it. He's wearing black leather with a fucking leather fanny pack the whole entire movie. And by the way, Sam Furstenberg fucked up. There's a scene in the movie which later ends up being his love interest, and they're like by the stairwell, I think, and they're like face to face, and they got no space, and they're even saying how they're in a tight situation. The female in that part should have said, "Is that your fanny pack? Or are you just happy to see me?" And they did not do it. I was so pissed off. But anyway, yeah, man, this movie has even more explosions than the first movie. Again, the guy who looks like the lead singer from Smashing Pumpkins is badass in this movie. This movie is a total ripoff of the Universal Soldier movie. I swear to God. They even have the transport, a similar transport. I think there's even the same amount of Universal Soldier or cyborgs as Universal Soldier, and they're rolling around in the transport where you're sitting up, and they connect you to devices and stuff, exactly like in Universal Soldier. It's so insanely funny. But yeah, that main bad guy, man, he's badass in the movie. There's so many cool sequences in this movie. David Bradley's an absolute badass, just like Sho Kosugi, just like Van Damme. I put him up there with the best of them, man. Really enjoy David Bradley in this film, and I cannot wait till my Laserdisc shows up. All right, guys, that is it. Thank you for watching the video. I am the PMM, the Physical Media Mac. Good luck out there finding whatever physical media you're looking for, and I'll see you guys in the next video.